the body is trying to tell you if you feel your heart is racing,
The number one killer of women is cardiovascular disease.
boundaries, but first you have to trust yourself. Remember?
Figure out, what are your goals, your purpose, what's your values, what are you supposed to be doing in life? Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in this evening. We are grateful to have you. My name is Dr. Kelly OMD. I'm a board certified OBGYN and a healthcare executive here to help you live your healthiest and wealthiest life. You have landed in our Ask Dr. Kelly OMD webinar. And when I bring on subject matter experts, it's never about me. It is about the subject matter expert, and we are going to learn so much tonight. Dr. Carrolle has been somebody I have been trying to meet and interact with for decades. And that is to say, because when I first found out about her living here in San Diego, and she was one of the very few private practice OBG board certified OBGYNs, I said, oh my goodness, I can do what she does because I can see a role model. Dr. Carrolle, tell us a little bit about yourself and the top 3 things you want us to take away tonight.
From Haiti, Mexico, Jamaica, freezing in Wisconsin and in San Diego, where they say, oh, as a woman, and I was black, and I was the only black woman in private practice all the years I was there anyway. In my hospital, I was the only black woman doctor. And then but to make a long story short, I don't see somebody I come from a family of healers. I had my mother who was a midwife in Haiti when I was 11 to deliver a baby. And I said, oh, what am I going to do with all this blood? So as time went by, and I could never fit in the protocol, and I could never fit having delivered baby with midwives in a farm to protocols, and they write me up. So first quit obstetrics, then I learned about the mind body spirit connection, and then pretty soon, whenever a woman will come to me and they're bleeding or they can sleep, and I say why. So it's always the why, and let's go backward. What's happening? So you don't make you cannot pay your malpractice insurance. You don't do surgery. So after quitting obstetrics and understanding when the women come to me, and I ask them and they tell me, and also I had to learn. I had a lot of experience as a primary care physician. Even after I quit obstetrics, I took 1 year of to be a primary care physician. So I know the body, I know the person, and then I have that gift. When you're with me, you feel heard. So they tell me things, and I'm realizing a lot of, I would say 9 out of 10 of the women were molested, raped, trauma. So that's why they're having all these complications, gynecological complications. So when they had obstetrical complications, but when they were with me, I never had any complications because I was there for them, and that's why they came. So when I found out, it's either be comfortable with what I'm doing or with the patient who came to me with trust, so I left. And then so I started writing. So I was in a book to I had a panic attack. It's the worst thing that ever happened. And then so it's just like then I realized, oh, we know you cannot breathe, you cannot concentrate and tap and have because your cognitive capabilities is totally shot. So I had to learn, I had to go to therapy. Been there, done that. And then I had to learn specific things that you do. And then that's what I do now. So for the past, so I end up in medicine consulting and doing all those things. So now I have had to go in places like in Haiti or after Katrina, 3 years with the people still living in the trailer. So I found out what I had to learn when I had the panic attack, and then I had to be able to make sense out of my brain as a surgeon. What do you do? And then so I learned all these techniques. So what I've been doing lately is going to places where after let's say I was in Salisbury, Maryland, where I was with people with trauma. So I have a training manuals to train my techniques, 3 breaths. I'm going to show you one of them. And 30 seconds, 30 seconds. And then and it sticks for years. And it sticks after trauma, especially if you visualize after. So we're talking tragedy, seeing somebody shoot in front of you, seeing your husband dead or hanging himself or child. So all these things, this is what I'm doing right now. So, so I want to start doing the training for the people working with these people, these professions. Yes.
So, Dr. Carroll, like I said, your story is just so amazing. From starting as an entrepreneur in a city that you said there weren't very many people that looked like you, or had
No.
the past experiences that you had. I didn't even know your mother was a midwife. That is, that's one of my favorite professions. I always say I'm a midwiferly OBGYN because much of the best training that I received has been from my midwives, whether certified nurse midwives or
Hmm.
midwives that
Yes.
work in the community. But, and then also going from there, you're just talking about you had a significant panic attack and you had to figure out, you know what, how do I come out of this and whatever has caused
Hmm.
this? A lot of our Viva Lifers,
Yes.
we talk about the root cause of
Why? Why?
why they're having,
The why?
abnormal.
And for me, there were many trauma, emotional, physical, and sexual, all these trauma. So when I was in medicine, I found I was have no way out. I was back into no way out. And that's what happened to people. When you have no way out, it doesn't matter. If you have any issues, if you want to be an entrepreneur, why you want to be an entrepreneur? I would say, why could I be a wife and in my, especially for my culture and have kids and everything? But there is a reason that make you want to be successful. That's, you have to do that. But then there is that past trauma is going to catch up with you. So it's not PMS, it's not perimenopause, menopause, hormone imbalance. No, it's you. If you don't understand who you are and you listen to your body, say, I can do this. And then you have to have the strength to say, I can do this. Doesn't matter the cost. So, and then you pay, there's a cost that you pay. So, but
And
then,
that's where we're going to be going tonight. The title of this is The Hidden Cost of Carrying Others. But
yes.
I know that we're going to be going into the hidden cost of carrying everything. What is that cost on your body? And I know
Mhm.
you've talked about, three things that we want people to take away tonight. Listen to your body.
Mhm.
Make sure you set boundaries as well as trusting your gut. So let's go
Yes.
into the listening to your body part. Why is this so important? And then how do people listen? Because I feel like a lot of times people hear something, but they don't take action. So tell me about how do people listen
Listen,
and take action?
the body is trying to tell you if you feel your heart is racing or anything to do with your gut, any signals that they're going to cause disease, like especially for a woman, why should your period be irregular? You should be, you know, you should be cycling with the moon, especially if you're midlife women and you, let's say you have a tubal sterilization or vasectomy, you should be, so whenever your body start telling you waking up at night, your heart is racing, and then, and all these, or your body gives you signals, is telling you, hey, listen, you better listen. So that's what I talk about, listening to the body. And then unfortunately, people will go to a clinician or practitioner and then trying to getting a diagnosis and trying to fit into that diagnosis. And
Mm.
then and they say this is, oh, you have this and that, you have to check, you have to take this. But then in my experience, and also having to work in many places where there is no blood work, there is no medical care, there is nothing. So I had to learn to see the person and say, who are you? What's happening to you? And then always ask the why. When did it start? So that's what I want to take away. When this, let's say you cannot sleep or your period starting then irregular and you will end up in your 40s, there is no reason for it. Why? So this is the body. What is telling you, the body say you are like in a fight or flight, you're constantly pumping the cortisol, you constantly, your autoimmune, everything is out of whack. And then so how do you stop? Because the body is just telling you things. It's not this symptom, this diagnosis. So,
And I think it's
so
important that you were saying that because, one of the number one killer of women is cardiovascular disease. And so
yes.
many times people will say, well, there's no symptoms. And it's like, no, have you been actually listening to your body? Have you been
Yes.
having the heart racing? Have you been having shortness of breath?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been having chest pain? Have you been just telling yourself that that's anxiety or
Mm-hmm.
it's stress? Like I've heard so
Mm-hmm.
many people say it's stress. Yes, this stress is actually killing you. So
Yes.
it's,
And
and it's like, okay, we can look at your thyroid, we can look at your brain function, we can look at your heart function, but in all
yes.
that, we need to get to the root cause of that. And many times,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why your hormones are out of whack, why your heart muscle
Yes.
is contracting so significantly or insignificantly, is because something is going on with that mind body connection that we're
Connection.
not paying attention to.
And you carrying, and what I see, like they say, the heart, for example. It's because the heart it's a machine. Let's say if you're in love, it goes pitter patter, but you stress too, it goes the same thing. So that's what I think. Ask yourself why, and then people know. And that's the thing. When I'm with somebody and the person, I don't say why. It's just like I even was in a clinic with you resident, you see at the School of Medicine, they will send me a bunch of patients bleeding, hemorrhaging, bleeding diagnosis. And I say, why? And everybody's, oh. And I say, you know. And all of us here in this frame, you know, you know. And remember, I say you have to trust yourself. And then sometimes you have to have boundaries because if you don't, you're going to pay for it.
Yes, and let's talk about those boundaries. So, like you were saying, when you come in, many times women know exactly why
They
things are
do.
going on.
They do.
They need support. They need somebody to
Yes.
listen, take them
That's it.
seriously, as well
Yes.
as reassurance about what's going on. Yeah, there's something
That's it.
physical that's going on, but there's many times something spiritual, mental, and emotional that's going on there,
Yes.
that's causing your
Yes.
body to be outside of its
Yes.
what is it?
Fight
Homeostasis.
or flight, you know, fight or flight, and you're pumping the cortisol, and that's why you're going to have all these diagnoses.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. So now you talked about boundaries because, we as women, we try to carry it all, right?
That's the point.
So tell me
And
about what boundaries we need to set up. And we already know why, but how do we set these boundaries up and how do we stick to them?
boundaries, but first you have to trust yourself. Remember,
Mm,
because if you think you have to take care of everybody, because I say, why are you doing it? Because that's what, as a mother, as a wife, it depends on the relationship you're in. I have to be a doctor. I have to be there for my patients. I have to be there for as a wife. I have to be there as a mother. I have to be running around and doing all those things. So the boundary is going to be particularly where you are because there are so many different situations. If you feel your body is telling you, I can't do this, I cannot sleep, and you know it's not good for you, then it is a particular situation. Why do you stay? What can you do? And then if you can, go and have a therapist, have somebody to say, this is what I am, this is what you do, and then find a way and give you the strength. I'll give you an example, very simple. If people will think it's in the present now, so many times people want to please and do things is because it's the little girl in them. It's always go back. It's that little girl who feel they're not worth it, who feel they have to please, they have to do that to give a sense of themselves. And it's very difficult for them. So it is a very difficult situation. It
you
is.
you know what? That's so interesting. And it's absolutely true. That desire to please people, that desire
Mhm.
to, be number one, if that's what your goal
Yes,
is, to be number one.
yes.
And so you see a lot of people that provide services to others
Mhm.
that they're
Yes.
saying yes to everything. They're for some reason blaming themselves for, however their kids ended up, even though you tried your best. If you tried your best and you tried to do right by your children, however, they've decided that they're going to go in a different direction, then at some point you got to let that go. You got to forgive and release the situation, yourself, and you have to let them go and be who they want to be. Now,
Mhm.
yeah, and we're going to, in our minds, positive thoughts for them. We're going to pray for them, meditate, but that doesn't mean that you need to take on their entire life after you've
That's what
already
happened.
helped them get to a point in their life. So, those setting those boundaries with friends, with fellow colleagues, with
Saying no, no one to say no.
supervisor. Yeah. So
Yes.
how did you learn how to say no? Because I remember when I did. How did you learn how to say no?
When I found out, because when you're carrying too much, and then there is a straw that broke the camel back, and you have to say, I cannot do it.
Mm,
And then so it's just like I don't have to please everybody. So
mm.
it's going to be different for everybody, each
I want to
person.
I want to know how many people on here. You could just raise your hand, or you can, thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you have a hard time saying no? And we're not going to wait for your answers. We're just going to let you go ahead and put in there. Do you have a hard time saying no? So yeah, I know a couple of people out here like, nope, I don't have any problem saying no. And I remember when I was dating, young officer dating, and the person I was dating was like, do you say anything but no? Well,
Yeah,
men, right? They trying to get what they can
but
get. He was trying to get
I
what he can
know,
get. But you have to
but then
understand who you are. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes, but I was saying it's just like is in many situations. And most of the people who come with complications or with any issues, or that I do as a consultant, they say everything I try doesn't work, and I just say it, and it's just like it's deep. It's deep.
And
It's
what we're
deep.
trying to do, everybody, is to help you figure out, what are your goals, your purpose, what's your values, what are you supposed to be doing in life? And then anything that tries to come inside, take you away from that, to distract you from that, more likely than that, that's a no. Anything that's taking you outside of what your personal mission, vision, purpose, goals, what you have been downloaded from your higher power and telling you to do, many times those are distractions. And if we can help you understand where to place the boundaries around those mission, vision, goals, and values, and trust yourself, like Dr. Carroll said, then we're going to help you actually not get into these significantly stressful situations that lead to significant disease and dying earlier than you should, or having some type of morbidity than you should, stroke,
Yeah, all of them.
all of
All
them.
of
So
them. Because when you are constantly, when you're not look good in your skin, so it's scientifically proven, you're constantly under stress and you constantly on the fight or flight. So you're going, there is a cascade of things that's going to occur. It's going to give you all those diseases there, and then but first they say it's PMS, perimenopause, menopause, whatever they're saying and then but in the meantime, there was at the cellular level, at the when they say, oh, you're going to have high cholesterol, you're going to have this and everything. What is it? It's the same thing. And the way I do with my Haitians, well, I go back and forth to Haiti. I cannot go right now, but because of the situation. But it's just like, say, you have a car and you have a gas on your pedal. So you're destroying everything. And then what they're measuring all those little pieces of tires and things like that. So it's just like how to take your foot off the pedal if you want it. So that's what makes you sick. And that's why I went and created the techniques, and then we're going to show one of them. It's just like to make you put your foot off the pedal. So you can, but while you're learning, you have to have both. While you're learning what to do, sometimes you cannot do it on yourself, with yourself, especially if you're an entrepreneur, doing this. Spend some time with somebody and say, what can I do? And somebody can clearly see and then make a plan for you and you follow.
I love that. I love that. So Dr. Carroll is going to teach us a technique. Y'all know in Viva Life, we like action-oriented solution. We like to have action-oriented. We don't just talk about it. We actually take action.
Mhm.
But in the last 7 minutes of our conversation, we're going to ask you, what are the questions that you have for us? So you all start teeing up your questions, and we're going to ask you what your questions are. But she's going to teach us a technique that has helped her trauma is a part of her trauma training and has helped trauma patients. So Dr. Carroll, you said you go out to traumatic situations. Just give us an example and then show us what the technique is that you'd like us to do.
Okay, an example is just like when they call me after a tragedy. At Mesa College, a student committed suicide in front of 1,000 students in front. So they had the students went home, but the people, the first responders, the staffs and everything, you visualize it.
Mm.
So we visualize it. So they're totally traumatized. And then I call it the nervous system is totally dysregulated. So the three techniques in my method is just like I have one method where you touch, there is the called pericardium 8, where they put the nail. So this one is something I'm there when the person comes like this. So and after an earthquake, so I've been going to places where there's a trauma. And then so I press, there's a press, it's based on traditional Chinese medicine. Pericardium 8 and press it. And that's what I teach in my training for the people or working with people with trauma. And then you press it, breathe with me, breathe with me. And then the next step is that I call it Dr. Antidistress method. What it means, it has four things. It's just like you have a car. I remember there's a car is going to explode, somebody is under it. So you have to have four people at the system. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that technique, it includes respiration, it includes centering your mind, and it includes saying affirmation, all is well, or with my patients, it say, thy will be done, que ta volonté soit faite, and tapping. So the breathing is just like when we're under stress and the fight or flight, we breathe fast, fast, fast. So when you to your nose, no mouth, because people say, oh, you do it to your mouth, you counterbalance it, and you breathe in, you hold it as much as you can, because when you're breathing and then you're not going fast, your body's saying, oh, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. And then the idea that's after 3 breaths, it's done. So, and the second is, so while you're breathing, there's something you do, and then so you lower, you close mouth, your mouth is closed, but your jaw goes down, and you could feel when you lower your jaw, you're going to feel all your upper body, because you have a tendency to go like this. You know, you lower your jaw and put your tongue at the bottom. So you're breathing. And then, so how do you concentrate closing your mind? If you are, let's say we're here and then we're talking, and then so you by yourself, you close your eyes and you fix your eyes behind your eyelids. When you do it behind your eyelids, and then so you see nothing comes in. So at the same time, and then, but if let's say if you are somewhere and you cannot close your eyes, and then so you can look at the person right here at that point. So that's it. So while you're doing, and the third one, I'm choosing all is well. My friend Luis, hey, all is well, all is well. That's at the third, and the fourth one is tapping. Is the tapping. There were so many when I had my panic attack, and then I tap here, tap that. You cannot do sequence. You cannot remember because your cognitive capabilities are gone. So the idea is to go and then using the middle and index finger, middle index finger, and then there is a point here called the Taeyang. So all this point is trauma release point in Chinese medicine, where between the corner of your eyes and in your ear. So that's your temple. There's a dip. So, and it is tapping. So those are the points. And then you just tap, 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 tap. So you do all 4 together. And if you have somebody, it doesn't matter how they just saw somebody being shot. And then I do that with them. So essentially, the 3 techniques is just like the person comes and then I press this point and I say, breathe with me. You cannot do that. So I'm giving you what it is, but then I'm going to show that one you do for yourself. And then I say to the person, are you left-handed or right-handed? 90% of people are right-handed, 8% are left-handed, and then 2% use both. You're going to use the hand you do. For some reason, that's what you have to do. So let's say we're going to do this here for the people who are left-handed. So we'll use this for left-handed. So anyway, so you're left-handed. Okay, so what you do, because I don't know how you're seeing it. So then what happened is when you do that, and then you say all is well. So I'm going to show it quickly how I do it, and then we're going to do it together. And it's after 3 breaths, you're going to see where I last. Oh, okay. So it's just like I'm breathing, I hold my breath. All is well, 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 all is well. You do it and you want it, it's gone. These points. And also, if you are in a meeting and you just got the news, you don't want to do that. There is a point outside of your knees. It's called a gallbladder 34. So when your knees is right there on the outside, you tap it instead of, you cannot be there tapping. You can close your eyes and you just tap and you're breathing. And it takes you out instantly. And then it takes practice.
And so the whole point of this is to interrupt the stress that you're feeling.
The fight or flight.
Okay.
So you active, because when you're in especially something horrible happened, you are in the fight or flight, run. So the people usually, and just so you see the people run, and that's why if you go to the hospital, they're going to give you a shot. Yes, that's what they do, like an animal, they give you a shot. That's why people, sometimes they don't want to take the medications, because when you take the shot, the visual, the trauma, the nightmares is still there. That's why when it is, I'm not taking this, you give me this, my body is dead, but I can still see it. So, and also I have to say, when I'm with the people who see it, I have a way specific point in their head that I do that in the trauma. I cut the link between the amygdala, where the memory is stored, and the distress. They remember it, but there is no distress. So that's what I do when that's what I do well in tragedies. And then but this is something people can do when you feel overwhelmed. And then also if you're working with people who are overwhelmed, as a therapist, as a as a doctor, as a nurse, and things like that. So those are things I do in my trainings. So I'm looking for hospitals and places. It works so quickly of to train people, even on the company executives. I go there and then it's just like
I
it's
love this. I love this, Dr. Carroll, because these are many of the techniques that we utilize in Viva Life on a regular basis. We talk
mhm,
about, learning how to do these things when you're not in this fight or flight. So that's why
yes.
your meditation, your journaling,
Hmm.
we focus on exercise, nutrition, hormones, and sleep. But
Hmm.
adding this into our experience will only
Yes.
improve the outcome so that if you do get into a
Yes.
situation where you have high stress levels, and that doesn't
And
have to be, a shoot 'em up, bang bang trauma or a molestation or rape,
yes.
although those things can happen and we can have you prepared for them. But then also, you're sitting in the meeting, there is significant trauma
Oh
going on in
yes.
the meeting. There's,
No.
bullying, belligerent, all of that. You
I
are
know.
delivering just the other day. I'm delivering a patient. I'm going in there. I walk through the door. Everybody is running around like they're crazy. And I'm like, bring
I
it
know.
down. Like bring it down. Let's focus on this
Your
situation
presence.
so that we can actually get out of this fight or flight. Because all that's going
Yes.
to do is send the patient over the edge. High blood pressure,
Yes.
the blood pressure is going to
Yes.
go up, the baby's
Oh
heart rate's
yeah.
going to go down. Everybody is in
Yes.
disarray. We
Yes.
don't need that.
Yes.
So thank
Yes.
you so much, Dr. Carroll, for being on here. What we want to know is how do we get in touch with you? So if we work with an organization or ourselves, we want to get together a group of people and learn these techniques so that we can address what these hidden costs are that we're carrying. How do we deal with the stress and the trauma, whether it be personally, professionally, or you've just been exposed to something that you did not expect? How do we get in touch with you so that we can
So
work with
I have my website, drcarrolle.com. It's drcarrolle.com. And then I have the services that I offered for the executives and also for the training manuals and then for therapists. So I have a beautiful place, Casa de Mirabeau, where I want to do, let's say, a day for 12 to 16 therapists because they are the one who get the brunt after all the trauma. And then so everybody's burning out. So what I would like, I like to do groups, and then I like to do. So if anybody there is a shooting or something, and then I'm the person to call because I come and help calm everybody, and then it's just like nothing ever happened. They go back to work.
And then, of course, we are going to make sure that they are set up with the proper, a long-term therapist because we
Yes.
can stop in the moment, but
Mhm.
long term, there may be some side effects or some repercussions from that experience that we want you
Yes.
to be with the proper therapist for. So we said we're
Yes.
going to let you have a few minutes to ask us questions. Does anybody have any questions for us? I don't see anything in the Q&A right now. It sounds like everybody is very appreciative of the conversation. You are a legend. You are definitely a legend. You are leaving a legacy. You have historical basis. We are so grateful for you being here in San Diego and then traveling around the world, the country and the world, providing not
After
only the original
trauma response,
services,
trauma
yes, as a
response.
trauma specialist. So yes, we really appreciate that. I'm just looking here real quick. I did also want to say, let's see, people answered that question about whether or not they learned how to say no. Some people said right away, I don't have any problem saying no. A lot of people said over time, as they learned themselves, they were able to
Yes.
learn how to say no. And they basically got clarity about themselves and the direction that they're heading, and then decided to, learn how to say no for themselves. So we're grateful for that. Thank you everybody for coming on. We're almost at the end. I'm Dr. Kelly, OMD. You're meeting Dr. Carrolle, CAROLLE.com. And I'm Dr. Kelly, drkellyomd.com. And what we're providing for you here is bringing on the subject matter experts. And this is a part of our Viva Life experience. If you're interested in finding out more about our Viva Life experiences, please go to drkellyomd.com. There will be more information coming to you after this event. Our newest offering that we're having is Thriving in Pregnancy and Postpartum. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking all of these techniques that we are learning and we are putting it into an experience for our pregnant and postpartum women so that they can not just survive pregnancy, but they can thrive. And we're calling that Viva Life in Pregnancy and Postpartum. That being said, thank you, Dr. Carrolle, for being here. You are my shero. And we greatly appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for coming on. Have a wonderful evening and Viva Life. All right, all right. Thank you for being a part of the VivaLife experience. I'm Dr. Kelly MD, board certified OBGYN and healthcare executive. If you like what you heard, then please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. The reason why is because we are trying to educate, encourage, and inspire 1 million people to live their healthiest and wealthiest life. And this is what we're bringing you. We're bringing you educational videos. We're bringing you podcasts. We are bringing you webinars with subject matter experts, including myself, about the topics that affect you the most. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. We are everywhere. Have a wonderful day. Viva Life.